With week 6 in the books, the Chicago Bears are 5-1. Who would have thunk it? Not you, not you, not you. I did. Not on record, but yeah.
Dreams are counting now.
Welcome back to DaSquad Chicago, DaSquad Pod. 4 random dudes making a podcast, a sports podcast, whatever you want to call us. Welcome back. Glad to show you our happy faces today. And guess what? We got all 4 of us back today to see all 4 of our happy faces. DGB, White Chocolate. My man over here, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Okay. I heard the voice inflection go up at the end. It seems like some energy is there, just a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's another week. Yeah, another week to talk about a W. So
there's going to be some weeks we're possibly going to be talking about a lot of those coming up.
Savor it.
We're going to talk about the schedule in a little bit, but let's see. We got my man Truth below me. How you doing, my guy?
Good, my guy.
Still got COVID? You still got COVID?
COVID free, my dude.
COVID free. All right. Porky, what's up, Porky? How you doing? Pork chop.
Doing great, man. My lucky, not lucky, my skilled pick of Cole Kmet with the great touchdown catch. So that was beautiful.
First career touchdown. Congratulations, Cole Kmet. Hopefully that is one of many more. Mm-hmm. But like I said, Bears are 5-1. Oh, I'm sorry. And we got Professor here as always on the 1 and 2. So how you doing? I'm great. Thank you for asking. Let's get on with it. Like I said, Bears are 5-1. And we're feeling really happy about that because literally no one expected us to be that way. Not even the Chicago Bears, I bet. But we've been visiting Club Dub every week. And my question is, will there be more dubs ahead? Obviously, we're a playoff team. That's obvious because now I think we're number 1 in the NFC North, right? We're in the NFC North champs so far, right? Because the Packers
percentage points ahead.
Yeah, the Packers just suffered an embarrassing loss to the Tampa Bay Bucks, who we handled in great fashion, right? That's the best way I would put it. We handled them. But we're number 1 in the North. My question is, how many more wins can we expect? Like I said, we're looking at the schedule a little bit. The reason I'm asking that and the reason why I'm less optimistic on wins coming up as I was 3 or 4 weeks ago when we did this topic is because I really haven't seen that much improvement in our offense. I called incorrectly last week for David Montgomery to have a breakout game. I don't know if you can call 50. What did he rush for? 55 yards breakout? I don't really know if that's a breakout. I also called for Nick Foles to do great. He did not. So our offense still looks pretty suspect. Our offensive line looks suspect. What's his name? James Daniels. He's his replacement. What's his name? Rashad Coward. There, that's the guy who's replaced Daniels. He didn't seem too bad. It didn't give up too much, but yeah, it's still we didn't open up any running lanes for David Montgomery. It did not look well. So yeah, I got my reservation because coming up we have
on the schedule
Rams, Saints, Titans, Vikings, Packers, and the Lions. I'm not even going to mention Lions. So all of the teams before the Lions, pretty tough. Pretty damn tough. Go ahead and speak on not only what you guys thought of yesterday, even though it was a dub. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Even though it was a dub, speak on thoughts of are you excited about these next couple of games? Are you worried? Often Nick Foles seems excited about the offense. I'm just not excited.
I'm really excited because Kmet with that touchdown grab, right? And Jimmy, if you can double up Jimmy and Kmet in there, right? It really opens up the middle of the field, the way they can run routes to big tight ends, and that's what they want. You know, they want those people in there, which I mean, if Monty can average more, he's averaging under 3 yards a carry, which is terrible, you know. So if we at least can get 3.25, you know, at least we're in the threes, right? So that would be somewhat decent. So if we can get Kmet and Jimmy going, I'd really like to see that. Mooney is just a stud. And Anthony Miller, he is just so freakishly talented. There's just something missing with him, I believe. It's he's so talented, and he's aware of it, and he wants to make these big plays, but I think he just needs to mentally scale it back a little bit so that he can be more efficient. But I think Nick sees that, right? And he sees a team that was kind of dangling by the grasp of Mitch of what if he's good, what if he's better, what if, and now Foles comes in and has that leadership and has that experience, and he's sparking a fire that they needed
in these games. And I think that's what's important. Now, we're not going to get complacent and say, hey, man, we're 5-1. This is it. No, like we're sitting there in the locker room after the game talking through it. Hey, we got to be better here. This is what we got to do here. Communication here, route running here. Hey, we got to be able to run the ball here. We know that. I know you're all going to ask those questions. We know that. And that's what's exciting, because we don't have to have y'all say, like, hey, you doing this? Hey, we know. But we also know that we're going to improve because we believe in one another. And that's what great teams do. Great teams find a way to win a game. Bad teams win with prettiness. Great teams win no matter how it takes. So I'm proud of our guys. I think we're continuing to improve. Are we where we want to be? No, we're not where we want to be. But I'm excited about our offense. I'm excited about the guys that are there. I like the communication that's happening on the sideline. I love the passion of the players. Most important, they care, and we're bonding. We're getting to know each other. That's football. Like, you don't just go out there and play football. You got to care about the man next to you to make those plays. So I like where we're at. I know we're going to improve. I believe in our staff. I believe in our players, and I'm really grateful.
Yeah, facts. We were talking to him over the weekend in our chat, in the squad chat. We were talking about how he has the intangibles that Mitch just doesn't. But I don't know how well that translates on the field. We know that about Nick Foles. We know he's a great guy, great locker room guy. We know he's going to rally up the team. Just on the field. That's just my question. I'm going to continue to question that. But to your point, like you said, tight ends, we were getting them involved. I think they had like 13 targets this week. So, yeah, that's great for Jamie Graham and Cole Kmet. But I don't see how that, again, none of that translating into yards. And again, this is not a fantastic Carolina Panthers defense. Total of 261 yards, only 22 first downs, which is pretty decent. I think DGB is going to talk about some of our third down conversions and things like that. But yeah, like I said, Darnell Mooney doing great. Moved into the wide receiver 2 spot, over Anthony Miller, but has been doing great with that. I don't know. I just there's the production. Maybe it's gonna come, but again, I just read off those teams. All these teams have tough defenses, toughish defenses. We haven't been able to do it yet. I don't know. Speak on it.
I'm saying that we're gonna probably pull out a dub just to complete the quad for the NFC South, because we've already beat Panthers, Falcons, Buccaneers. We got Saints in 2 weeks, not next week. So I'd say, like, moving forward, it's probably going to be the same thing. I said we're going to have like 21 points, and Carolina's going to put up less than that, but we put up 23 points. But the only difference was it was a first quarter touchdown, second quarter touchdown, and then like it was kind of silent from there, or maybe a third quarter touchdown. But overall, like, we still didn't bring out that full offensive swagger that we're all expecting. So it's like they kind of flipped it. End of the game, it was kind of dead. Beginning of the game, we turned up. But regardless, again, still not the best defense. But then you look at it, it's like, I want to give us the dubs the next couple of weeks, against the Rams and against the Saints. But when you think run-wise, like, we haven't really put up much running game against any of the teams that we've played so far. Mm-hmm. But you can always rely on the defense. And again, strictly defense for me. Like, right now, we're looking phenomenal defensively. So we're gonna shut down Jared Goff, who can't connect with like some of his receivers right now. Definitely not going to be able to do it with us. Same thing with Breeze, who's like blind out there pretty much. But then we got the run game, Kamara. So like, if we're attacking Breeze, which I think we're gonna do, like, we also have to make sure that we can stop Kamara. He's more of a threat than, Mike Davis is, or Ronald Jones or DeAndre Swift or anyone on the Lions, So, like, we still have some issues to, like, figure out before we get to the week against the Saints. But as far as like this week, I can give us the win just based off the defense. We got to figure it out on offense, though. Really.
DGB, do you have anything to?
But
Oh shit! Oh shit!
wait,
Oh shit!
also, I think
more,
we're
please.
only playoff contenders right now based off the easy schedule that we've had up until this point. It's all going to be changed.
Whoa, no, stop! I'm gonna stop you right there because that has actually
Why?
a common misconception about us having easy wins. Let me just read this off for you. This is how many number of wins our opponents have had. So the people we've faced, this is how many wins they've had. 11 wins for the Bears. This is the point our opponents have had. Packers have only faced people or teams that have only won 7 times. Seahawks, 11, just like us. Steelers, only 9. Ravens, only 8. Like, these are the top teams of the league, top teams in the power rankings, but yet the people we've faced have won more. So change that narrative here, sir. Don't start that here on the squad.
True, but also, like, we're ranked 11 for a reason, dude. You gotta ask why. It's probably because of that. The teams that we have beat and they've beaten other teams are probably fluke games. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're talking Detroit or Tampa Bay, who's just now getting their stride. Like, we're getting towards like mid-season. If we're not mid-season, no, we are mid-season. Like, this is the second half we're getting into, and the schedule's about to get a lot more tougher for everyone, really. And you're talking beginning of the season, it was kind of a cakewalk for us, even though we didn't put up the points to like blow out any and every team. It was still kind of easier compared to facing, like KC week 1 or even Buffalo or Steelers, people like that. Like,
Okay.
Right. Second half's another story. I'm thinking based on schedule.
I disagree. I don't think it was a cakewalk. All right, whatever. DGB, what you think?
Well, first, I mean, focusing on this last week or this win here against Carolina, one of the bigger things I was mentioning was paying attention to that third down conversion on both offense and defense. And as we saw heading into the game, Carolina was converting, but also giving up 50% of all third down conversions. And the Bears offense and defense was about 33%. So, knowing that and seeing that going into the game, the Bears actually came out of it 7 for 14 on third down. So the Bears converted 50% on offense, which pretty good for what this team is on offense, right? And then on defense, I think they stopped them 3 out of 13 times or something like that. So it was only about a 20-something% conversion for Carolina on third downs, and that played a big part in it. But also, big shout out to the Bears special teams because, hey, we had a kicker make all 3 of his kicks. One was a 55-yarder, which, we as Bears fans all feel, that tinge of anxiety when a kicker lines up. So props to Kairos Santos.
I've never celebrated a 55-yard field goal like that before. I'm just like, wait, what just happened? No. What just happened? That was amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, Pat O'Donnell had like one beautiful punt that was downed inside the 5 and had a couple inside the 20. So I mean, all around a pretty good performance on special teams. Defense, as we've said, was very good as well, generating a lot of pressure. Getting some of those impact plays as well on defense, obviously with some of the interceptions, and then the offense. It's the play calling sometimes is still not what it needs to be. And as we've seen, that injury to James Daniel kind of hurts because, the offensive line wasn't great or wasn't a strong point heading into this game and into the season. It was competent, but now, you lose your starter and one of your more promising ones at that, has been an issue. And then couple that with the Monty thing. So, definitely some things on offense to improve, but now looking forward to these next few weeks. And I mean, I see what you're saying with some of these, how many wins did the Bears, the teams that the Bears faced, how many wins do they have? But I would direct you to look at how the Bears haven't played anyone necessarily. What's that?
Don't outstat me with another stat. No, we're not doing that.
All right, well, because I was going to say, out of our next 6 weeks here, from the Bears' standpoint, and one of them being a bye week, 4 of those 5 weeks, we'll say, are against teams that are ranked 10 or better in the latest power ranking. Okay. So we're about to see what the Bears are actually made of here against the good teams and put that narrative to bed, or it's going to be like, here, eat it and wear it.
Okay.
So, those
This-
next coming weeks, 4 top 10 teams, as of today. So,
Yeah. DGB, we had said going into one of the things the Bears defense needs to do is contain Teddy. And they held Teddy to the worst game he's had this season. And really, he was trying to make plays happen because Teddy, he wasn't, his legs aren't what he used to, so he wasn't using them as much. He was trying to force his way to use his legs, and he couldn't. So from the defense perspective, for them shutting down the way they did and stepping up is huge. It's massive. And going to that power ranking, when you look at all those teams that are up there, the reason why they're up there is because they have a quarterback. That's the plain and simple. That's the only thing. Nick, we know what we're getting with Nick. We know what it is. And all those other teams, they got a quarterback that they can say, this is my franchise QB. We don't. We know this is a rental until we can get somebody in here that we know it's the future and go from there. And it's scary to think about, right? When we have a rental quarterback that it's funny when you hear the announcers talking about him, right? They were giving him so much praise within the first quarter and a half. All of a sudden, turned down to, well, this is what you get with Foles. He's inconsistent. I'm like, man, they flipped the switch on him real quick, So when you look at it for what it is, like these next 4 weeks are so pivotal for them that they're going to have to really step up and find a good quarterback, because I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no. So those teams you're talking about, that's ahead of us inside the power ranking. So we're number 11. ESPN just released theirs. I call it the trash because you got the Green Bay Packers at 6, but you got the Rams at 10, Saints at 9, who are 3-2. The Saints are 3-2. How are they number 9? I don't understand this.
You got Kamara. And Michael Thomas.
And Michael Thomas now coming back kind of gives a little leeway up to this point.
All right, whatever. You guys are seeing two different stories here. You guys are playing storylines. I'm playing fact. All right. You got the Bills at 8, 4-2. Okay, whatever. Tampa Bay at 4-2. We beat them. We literally just beat them. And then you got the Green Bay Packers at 4-1 at 6. They just got beat by the Bucs badly. I just don't understand this. Tennessee Titans 5-0 at 5. Baltimore Ravens 5-1 at 4. Pittsburgh 5-0. Kansas City 5-1, and the Seahawks 5-0. Those are the top teams I don't have. But we should at least crack the top 10. That's just my problem with it. The reason why I'm going so hard for this and trying to campaign for this before week, 7 starts, is because those L's are going to start piling up. I want to celebrate us being recognized. I want some type of recognition. I mean, we still call that bum-ass team we saw last night America's team for some reason. They get all the recognition in the world. They get all the spotlight in the world. Considering
how America has looked for 2020, that pretty much summed up how they looked last night. So, I mean, it's dead on. It is America's team.
Man, I'll say one thing about the power ranking part, and it's like when you look at those teams, right, that are ahead of the Bears, all of them definitely have those quarterbacks that they rely on, and then they also have a running game. The only one that's a little bit more on the Bears level in terms of not like firing on all cylinders is the Bills, but Josh Allen kind of helps alleviate some of that too. But if you take a look at those teams, they all have competent running backs. And I say competent, but some of them are very, very good. And it's like that's the thing that scares me going into these next few games here. As a Bears fan, is the lack of the run game, and that not being able to do that, and then how that limits the options that Nick Foles has as he goes to throw it, and against some of these better teams that have offensives that will put up 30 points on even a very good defense.
Right.
The talent level on some of those teams is just there for that.
Right.
I mean, the Bears, it's it's going to be interesting, but I just wish there was something they could do to get a little bit more well-rounded to figure out that run game, just to help themselves out a little bit.
Yeah, hell of a game. Or no, hell of a game. Hell of a test for our defense coming up. Hell of a test. They showed out yesterday. They were great. They had like 4 sacks. Khalil Mack was great. Bilal Nichols was great.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was
2
great.
picks.
Yeah, the 2 picks was that was amazing to see.
Possibly third, but that one didn't get called back.
Jalen Johnson had a couple pass deflections. Like he was looking good. Even though he had a
little of both, but he's a rookie.
Yeah, exactly. But they were targeting him like the most. So
Yeah, no one wants any of Kyle Fuller.
Exactly.
Nope.
Exactly. So the defense, super tough test coming up. But if it's any more that I want going into that, it's the Bears defense. So I have full confidence and full faith in them, and they just picked up Manti Te'o, which that's gonna take us over the numbers.
It's like just keep gifting our defense, man. Like I'll take it. They'll carry us to some type of Super Bowl or play.
Hey, but I mean, speaking of practice squad people, we mentioned Lamar Miller on the practice squad. If there's anything left somewhere in that tank of his injury-riddled career, if you can at least look like a Le'Veon Bell on the Jets, I'll take it.
Not even.
The
I'd
bar
say
has been lowered.
Let's take it a little lower, like David Johnson, maybe like type talent. Even just stay healthy. I'll take that.
Listen, I mean, you're stretching. We're talking about a guy that hasn't really been played a full game since 2018, I believe. Right. So that's a stretch.
All right.
True.
The refs. The referees. Why do they hate the Bears? We're third in penalties this year, and we don't get the benefit of the doubt. You got Khalil Mack, who's not getting any holding penalties ever. Like, the man don't complain. That's one of the things I love about Khalil Mack. He's just like, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to get mine or whatever. I'm just going to destroy. But, man, like, flail, like, complain. Do something. Get some of these holding calls. Like, these are the games online. Like, we're not getting any penalties in our favor. Like, every time Kyle Fuller goes to pop someone, like, the refs are ready. They're ready to throw a flag, just ready to go. So, I don't know. These refs, I know that we got the Saints coming up in a couple weeks, and we just talked about that. And they're the number one team.
They've been undisciplined.
That's going to be interesting, that game. That's just going to be just yellow flags all over the place. But, they just got to get their shit together and leave us alone. Let us play. We're just monsters. It's just how we play. We're just physical. But DGB, I cut you off. What are you about to say?
Well, no, I was going to say the thing. I mean, and this could be for another time. But looking at Monty, right, and the Bears running the ball and the woes that they have for that, and looking back I was taking a look back at the draft from 2019 and where he was picked and kind of who was running back wise still on the board for the Bears. And so Montgomery was in the third round. He was the 73rd overall pick. Devin Singletary was one pick after him, right, at 74. So, could have had it's Singletary. Damian Harris was 14 picks after that. Alexander Madison was pick 102. Benny Snell was 122. Pollard, though, 128. And the reason why I say Pollard, right, it was in round 4, pick 128, 2 picks after the Bears took Riley Ridley, which Riley Ridley hasn't, been able to be even on the field.
Right.
But the reason why I say all that is I was looking at all these guys, kind of like the measurables and kind of some of their college stats and whatnot before coming out. And basically, the biggest thing about it is none of these guys in terms of 40 times are like straight line speedsters and all that. It's a lot of 4.6s. David Montgomery's a 4.6 something. But basically, looking at it, like Montgomery's speed score is in the 49th percentile. His burst is in the 10th percentile of running backs. So it's like, when you're looking at stuff like that, it's like it makes a lot of sense why you don't see it translate on the field, right? He doesn't have very much of that. But you look at some of these other dudes who, Damian Harris, he was 4.57 at a 40 time. He was in the 75th percentile in burst and 60th percentile in speed, but he had a unique situation in Alabama where he was playing amongst a lot of guys. So it was more of a timeshare. But Tony Pollard ran a 4.52. He was the 66th percentile of speed score and 57th percentile of burst, which is one of the higher of all of these guys here. And then he was averaging his whole thing coming out of college, right, was that he didn't see as many rushes, but he had the highest yards per carry at like 7.1, and he saw a lot of targets. He saw the most targets, and he was like doing the most with them. So I say all that to say when they were looking at a Matt Nagy offense and a guy who's able to run the ball, but also be that pass catcher. That obviously David Montgomery's doing a fine job at catching some of these passes, but it's what happens after you catch the ball, right?
Right.
That's the thing that Monty can't and hasn't brought to the table, but a guy that has some of that like electric burst, like even a Madison and like those guys that, can have shown that they can catch the ball. But what you do after it, has been, what's been sorely missed. So it's like,
what do you
looking at
propose?
some of that,
Do you propose the Bears go after someone like a Tony Pollard or a Madison?
No, I mean, I'm saying all this is, obviously it's all 2020 hindsight stuff,
Right.
where you can look back at the draft and say, oh, this guy, whatever, this guy was a miss or whatnot, but I just say that because it's like when you look at some of these guys now, I like looking and charting some of that out. And it's like Montgomery has been giving all of the opportunities. And it's like, what you do with it, is kind of who you are as a player, right? And it's like he hasn't been able to do anything with it as much, as some of these other guys with limited sample size have been able to do.
Okay. And I think that's the big thing, right? Is that all those guys you name, they do have a limited sample size. They're not in that role that David's in. So to put David in that position to say, huh?
I said, would you say that would be a negative though?
As far in what regards?
Like holding it against someone for not having a larger sample size to say, okay, if they were in that role, like, I mean, a case in point for Alexander Madison, right? I mean, he had one game opportunity, obviously Dalvin being out and, kind of shit the bed, but it's like, one game. So it's like, again, viewing it against that versus now Montgomery's in, season 2 and basically 1.5 of getting RB1 touches, So it's like, is it a bad thing to look at it, the sample size? Is that a knock, I guess, on them?
Okay, so I guess I see where you're coming from. And I guess to me, I'm thinking like it's a knock towards the front office because you're pairing up Monty with Tariq. And you can't do that, Like Tariq and Patterson are two gadget type players that they're being misused, right? So, I mean, if you had a player like Pollard and Monty as a 2-back set, and then using the gadgets like Cohen and Cordero, I think it'd be electrifying back there. I know that's kind of a stretch saying electrifying, but the opportunities what they'd have and kind of go, it brings up so much more diverse utility aspects with them all. That's what they need to do. And having Monty lead it, I think it's not good. And to have, it seems like all around everybody's saying, hey, Mitch was going to be the starter no matter what. So that's why Nagy, what he had to do, he said, no, I'm yanking you midway through the game, so that way McCaskey can't say anything to me. I'm going to pull it right now because it's happening, and that's it.
I saw a lot of Nagy slander during the game. I've heard Nagy slander from even within the squad. Is there a problem with Nagy as our coach? Lyle, he has I believe it's the 4th best record as a starting head coach for Chicago Bears. I believe it is out of all of our head coaches we've ever had, and he's continuing to win. We're 5-1.
Let these slanderers speak first.
Yeah.
Spotlight. Where's that number 1 slander? I believe it was DGB slander. Go ahead. Where's that?
Gotcha. Here, ready to go. No, the thing with Nagy, I mean, obviously the record that he has to start an era for this Bears team has been pretty impressive. When you look at the W's and L's. The thing for me, and it's, Professor, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, I think it was, and it's like basically as a leader of men, he seems to be something you would look for, right, in a coach. Like his attitude and demeanor and kind of all of that, and seemingly what it seems like inside the locker room, is he is that good leader. So I value that a lot in probably more in basketball than I do in some of the other sports because like there's just so many bodies, you kind of have to have that leadership at the top. My issue with him is and has been the play calling, and so my recommendation and what I was saying the other day is, he definitely needs to stay on as your head coach because there hasn't been anything that warrants getting rid of him that way. But the play calling and kind of maybe turning that over and seeing how that looks, because again, he was hired as this offensive guy, right? And, we talked about this again. It was like in Kansas City, he was just calling the plays for that game in the playoffs against the Titans, and then they lost, right? It wasn't something that he was really doing in terms of play calling, right? So it's like now he has the opportunity to do it here, but I just don't think he's done it well. So I would say turn him over, the play calling duties. But as a leader, I like him.
Okay. All right. And that's been your Nagy slander, sponsored by DaSquad. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But, yeah, I can agree pretty much with everything you said. Like, if you can get rid of the play calling and focus on just leading the team, that'd be great. I'd like to see him in that position. Maybe he's got too much on his plate.
And I think it's an indictment of the league as well, because you let these. I think the turnover is far too quick. There's no maturation of the players and the coaches. Like switching to baseball, right? It's across the board, and it's just the era that we're in now, where there's just such a high demand for immediacy, and there's no growth, right? So poor old Ricky Renteria got the boot again, and it's when you continuously get pulled in those moments and those things, I understand, like, hey, you know what, you want to win and everything, but I don't know. To me, I just think you gotta let these people grow, and if the coach is not showing signs of growth, then yeah, that's a big problem. But if he is, they're all learning. When you look at all these coaches, Belichick, and yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, and Andy Reid, they've been around for so long, but they're growing and they're trying to get better. And when you cut these guys loose so quickly, unless your name is Jim Boylan, there's probably merit to what you're doing.
Speaking of, we're not gonna cut him, and this will probably be the last thing we got on the Bears because we're running out of time here. But Chuck Pagano doing amazing with the Chicago Bears defense.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, we'll have a starting job next year. What does that say about our – oh, no? I see iffy faces. No, maybe. He's doing a phenomenal job. I think he will have a job as a starting head coach next year. You're going to have the Jets available. You're going to have – who else is available right now? Houston's got a coach available. Who else just fired their coach?
Detroit probably won't be far behind.
Detroit, Atlanta. There's going to be a lot of coaching positions open. So, and Chuck Pagano has proven before he can win, and he's proving right now that he can at least – coach a defense. So next year,
that'll be the thing.
Like
you guys, teams want a defensive-minded head coach versus offensive.
That's true. That's true too.
But
I think Atlanta is a good fit because they are stacked with offensive talent, so they don't need a defensive mind there.
Yeah, but the dude that they have as their interim head coach is their defensive coordinator or whatever was, and now is their interim coach, Raheem Morris.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But
so if he was to go, do you guys think this defense is still as dominant?
Yes.
I mean, the talent on the field says yes, but at the same time, I mean, basically, I think the front four is giving Pagano help because they're not having to have as many blitzes, even though Pagano doesn't, look to do that often as much anyway. But like the front four has consistently gotten a good amount of pressure, so it helps the back end of defense. So it's like, if you have a game caller, a guy who's successful in doing that, that can kind of come in and step in. Yeah, the talent should help keep them afloat.
All right. So football, we'll talk about the next game, next pod, hopefully. So we're done with the Bears. We're excited. We're happy. 5-1. Before we get off the pod, though, I do want to bring something to our viewers' attention that Porky brought up to me, and that was a tweet, I believe. It was either a tweet or an Instagram post, but it said that Derrick Rose, a trade to the L.A. Lakers, is very possible. So Derrick Rose with LeBron. My question to you guys. Mostly to Porky, because he hates LeBron. If LeBron wins D Rose a ring, wow, are you still hating?
On who?
LeBron.
Yeah, I don't like that man. I mean, what kind of take is that?
Even if he got D Rose a ring, you're still gonna hate on him. You're still gonna
Yeah, D Rose didn't have no choice That man, he's gonna opt out. He's gonna say, "We're gonna trade here," and Rose is gonna be like, because of who he is. All right, hey man, I don't want to be with you in Cleveland, but that just kind of happened, and he went MIA. But he got his stuff together now, and he's kind of ready. But Rose don't want to play with this man. Rose want nothing to do with this man.
You said who?
Man, the only reason why Rose is gonna be happy because he's got a fellow Chicagoan with AD there, so that might be a little love right there, but otherwise, no.
All right. Well, that's all I got. That's literally all I got. Did you guys have anything else? I just wanted to see if you were hate still. You're still a hater.
Yeah, I was just gonna say one thing, and that's let the hate flow through you.
Good. Use your aggressive feelings, boy. Let the hate flow through you.
Oh
yes. LeBron hate is strong in this one.
It is. All right. Well, dope. I don't know.
That's the thing. Hold on, honey. Let's look at the slander correct.
Oh boy.
Okay. I can't say I hate the man because somebody I hate is Jimmy Butler. He's a diva and I hate that man. LeBron is just a sellout. So there's a fine line here.
It's levels, huh? There's levels to this.
There's
shit.
levels to it.
Oh man, the hate. Like you said, the hate is strong with this one. Hey, I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt too. That's hilarious.
How much time we got left?
We're done. We were about 5 minutes past. But do you have anything else to say?
Yes, I got a shout out to all my Hispanic viewers out there. How about them boxing fights?
Boxing. I forgot. I completely forgot about that. Bring it up. Talk your
Listen, man, we had all the Puerto Rican boxers out there. They've been doing it constantly. Haven't had a big name in a while. Cotto was always good, but had some matchups. We had nobody really dominant. Saw some younger kids and featherweight, welterweight show up. And how about Berlanga? Berlanga brought all the smoke in the world. The dude had his eyes open, popped up open like the pine saw lady once he got rocked. And it wasn't even clean licks that he was getting them with. And I think he wanted to drop himself on the floor. That's the type of fight I want to see. And going to Lomachenko and Lopez, this brought me so much pure joy in boxing because Lomachenko, he was out for 14 months and he came out and he looked solid. He was a pound for pound fighter in the world. That 14-month layover really got to him. He's 32 years old as well too.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, but shout out to Lopez for giving it because they were throwing. If you heard at the 30 to 45 seconds at the end of the 12th round, they started throwing, and Lomachenko got a good lick on Lopez, and then Lopez said, "Come on, let's go," and he called it, and that's what I like to see. That is what LeBron never did. That is what Mayweather never did. You just go grab him by the neck and slay, and that was beautiful.
Hey.
Brought it back.
Oh man, how can we bring this back? Oh, hey, speaking of LeBron, bro, you need to tell him how to get that head thing straight up there, bro. I saw a recent picture of him, man. That shit is gone. He just need to give it up. He just need to just go.
Yeah. Hey man, my barber, he used to try to dye some areas, and I told him to cut all that out because I wasn't having that. So LeBron, I'll hook you up with my barber if you want. He does a little dye action, and
hey, this is the second pod in a row you've given grooming tips. I love it. Let's go.
New segment.
All right. No, but hey, no, that was good bringing up. I actually did mean to bring that up. I did want to actually talk about the boxing a little bit more. Maybe we'll find some time, but that was some fights. That was a good ass fight. So, next time, maybe next time we'll see. But
maybe next time we'll see. Those are words that people say when they have no intention of bringing anything back.
No. So these are words that I say.
Yeah, I'll call you maybe later next week.
We'll bring it back maybe in 6 months. You know me. I'm not gonna get to it until it actually pops up again. So yeah, maybe in 6 months we'll talk about it again. But yeah, no, I didn't want to talk about boxing for sure. Anything else before we sign off, my guys?
No,
No,
man, just
sweet.
looking forward.
That was great.
Yep, looking forward to next week and
And don't
keeping
for-
this Bears train rolling, baby.
Yeah, let's go. Let's keep it up. Yeah, no, that football Sunday was amazing. Let's do it again, guys. Let's do that again. All right, thank you guys for viewing the squad. We appreciate you chilling with us for 35 minutes. We'll catch you next time. That's all I got.